Let me just put up one. I'll have 2 slides, and that's it. Just more for your interest. So we looked at Brazil, India, and South Africa, and China, and if you look at the real, we just did some basic indicators about the wage and the minimum wage. The real average monthly wages in U.S. dollars. So this is to make them a little bit more comparable. You can see there, China is kind of second among this group. The real monthly minimum wage in U.S. dollars, China's on the kind of lower end, actually, relative to Brazil and South Africa. And if you do this as a percentage, China's also, is that consistent with the other papers today? I don't know. That's what we had from, I think actually from maybe one of the papers here. So China is still low as relative to what's happening in some of the other emerging markets. But what's really interesting too is what's been going on over time. If you just look at the wage growth in emerging markets, the total percent change in real wage, in real average wages from 2003 to 2010, you can see in Brazil 22%, India no change really, slightly negative, South Africa about 18%, and China is much faster than any of the other countries. And China is also seeing a much faster increase in the minimum wage. And so this is kind of an interesting comparison. The minimum wage increase is just a little bit more than the average wage increase. And the other countries are kind of all over the place in the sense that, South Africa, the growth rates are similar. In Brazil, you see the minimum wage growing a lot faster than average wages. And in India as well. So, I mean, as a whole, it looks like these emerging market countries they're all definitely imposing minimum wages, and the minimum wage growth are generally growing faster than average wages. So they're definitely a policy issue that's important and potentially going to have increasing effects on labor market outcomes. If that's important, the fact that the ratio as a share of wages is going up. And then, so we did some just pictures. The trends of real wages, unemployment rates, and minimum wages are kind of, vastly different across the countries. I'm not going to go through them. This is China. The unemployment rate data from the 2000 census, the 2005 mini census, and then the 2010 census are probably the best unemployment rate estimates plotted here. And you can see, the real minimum wage has been going up throughout this period, as have real wages. So there's no real, as we just said, you can't really say too much from just comparing time series. But then we kind of reviewed the studies that we were aware of, including I think one by Newmark on Brazil and India that are that actually do regression analysis and try to estimate it. South Africa has a bit more, and then finally we conclude that this thing is what I just said, that minimum wages are increasing faster, but there are big differences across countries. There seems to be less evidence. This is our reading of those studies. There seems to be less evidence of big negative employment effects, although today we've had some big negative effects for China. So that, and they're all small literature, so this could easily be revised. And there's lots of issues related to enforcement and compliance that I think may underlie this kind of characterization.
There's a World Bank project that ended around 3-4 years ago where they reviewed the evidence for lots and lots of countries.
Right. Okay. And there's going to be a conference. I can advertise Lisha's conference, which is occurring in October, which is international, and we'll have people coming from India and also many of these different countries. It's a focus on minimum wages in developing countries, so I think we'll learn more there about the comparative experience. So that's it. Now I want to just close. I know you're all tired, but I thought it would be useful since, especially for some of our keynote speakers, they're probably taking in a lot of new information. It would be a good opportunity to just allow for a few minutes for people to kind of offer some thoughts about what they've learned, and also if there's any new kind of insights into what the policy implications of all the things we've learned today are, either for China, Hong Kong, or